Hello YouTube, hello, and we're back. Of course, today we're going to be talking about Kazuya. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Kazuya. As the title suggests, we're going to be talking about why the character feels so damn good sometimes, right, in tournaments, when a lot of Kazuya players have been doing well. I mean, Kazuya has been doing well even in other seasons as well, but recently it's been like a little bit more talking about Kazuya, so I would just want to mention it. I did mention this on my stream. I was talking about it on my stream sometimes as well, but I just wanted to record a YouTube video about it as well, and so here we are. So let's start. So the thing about Kazuya right now, and as I already said, I did mention this on my streams, is that I feel like the latest seasons, in season 3, the game is a way more neutral heavy. So if you guys know and have kept up with the updates and the patch notes and stuff like that, season 3 didn't start that well. We all know that, right? Season 3 didn't really start that well, but after that we had a couple of emergency patches. I think we had 3 overall, at least 2 or 3, something like that. And with those patches we got a lot of very good changes when it comes to a lot of the situations and a lot of the moves. We, for example, removed all kinds of heat regeneration, right? In one of them, I think that was one of the latest ones. For example, Kazuya Dampek 1-2 does not regenerate heat, or anything else for that matter, which was an amazing change, amazingly positive change, right? There were a lot of other changes as well that basically made the game feel a lot better to play, and not as offensive heavy, or offensively oriented, I guess, to put it a little bit better. That's why recently it's a little bit more neutral heavy. So the recent season, in season 3, after all the emergency patches that were done, the game feels way more neutral heavy than it ever did. So what I mean by that is that in the neutral, you're actually moving around and waiting for your opponents, and not just mindlessly going in and going into a stance and going into a mix-up and doing your, let's say, your homing plus on block highs from mid-screen, and then going into a mix-up again after your homing plus on block highs from mid-screen. They still exist, don't get me wrong, right? Those kind of stuff that still happens, but it's not as common. Since a lot of the changes that they did, they kind of removed a lot of the rewards from those kind of moves. And since the rewards are gone, it's not as worth using them, while the risk is still being there, right? Obviously. Right, well, for Kazuya, let's talk about Kazuya now. So those are the season 3 changes recently that I think made the game a lot more neutral heavy, which also meant that neutral heavy characters are also gonna get indirectly buffed. So let's talk about Kazuya. So Kazuya actually got nerfed in the season 3. He got nerfed because at first this combo got removed, right? This combo doesn't exist anymore. This used to be a thing, and it used to wall splat sometimes, right? It was pretty strong. Doesn't exist anymore outside of the wall. At the wall, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever. Doesn't exist anymore, right? He also got nerfed when it comes to, let's say, something like this. This doesn't launch anymore, right? Like this kind of nerfs actually did hit him. The other thing was also the Hell Sweep, basically taking away all of his heat and not regenerating heating anymore, right? And this also got nerfed when it comes to its Oki. The Oki here was way better, and it's not even close. So in season 3, the character actually did get nerfed. Technically speaking, it did get nerfed, but none of these nerfs that nerfed him was that substantial. Like, for example, even Fukitobe, it did get nerfed, right? It's a special mid now instead of a normal mid, which caught people ducking, and now it takes way more heat. But all of these nerfs I just mentioned does not really change the character fundamentally, right? It doesn't really change the character. The character's strengths are still there. His neutral strengths of having that neutral electric to control space is one of the best things that you can have in the neutral game right now. It's not a Kazuya exclusive thing, obviously, right? The Mishimas have it. Devil Jin, Reina, Jin, all of the characters that have an electric will have this kind of advantage to control neutral really well. But what sets him apart? I mean, he's just another character with electric, right? But well, what sets him apart is also this forward too. One of the things, right? Other characters forward 2s can also be strong. They're not weak. But Kazuya, since it has so much range, right? and it doesn't. You don't really feel like you can whiff it easily when it comes to people backdashing it anyway. They can step it, don't get me wrong, especially outside of heat they can step it, but it feels really good when you can realign it as well, right? So this FF2 is a very big game changer to having a long range mid check as well that can control neutral while also having something like this kind of electric, right? This is really good. So Kaz in the neutral has always been good because of these two moves, but the game hasn't been that neutral focused for a while because Tekken 8, Season 1, Season 2, especially Season 2. So yeah, now since we kind of have the ability to play neutral more, Kazuya's moves and neutral superiority, not superiority, but the advantages he has in the neutral shines a lot more, especially when a good player uses him, right? And this is very important because a lot of the Kazuya players that have been doing well with him has been playing this character for more than like 2 game iterations. Most of them anyway, right? Tekken 8, Tekken 7, maybe Tag 2, maybe Tekken 6, maybe 5, maybe 4, right? Decade or 2 decades of play at least. So that's why it's important that you have to understand how to use them. Especially when you do electrics. Electrics, you have to understand how to use them really well, and you have to use them sparingly, especially against the good players. This is all outside of the things he can do when it comes to mixing people up. So a lot of the mix-ups did get nerfed for other characters, which were entirely unfair when it comes to risk-reward. But Kazuya is the mix-up character and has always been the mix-up character when it comes to high risk, high reward mix-ups anyway. With Hell Sweep, right? And on the FF3 for the older Tekken versions. Or we even have Down Back 2. We still have Down Back 2. But yeah, now let me tell you guys, this is one of the most important things why Kazuya is so viable in tournaments, in my opinion, anyway. And the reason why he is so viable is this move called CD1+2. This move changes so much for the character that he becomes way better to play. Way better to play, even in tournament settings. It changes so much that if this move wasn't there, it would be a very rough time. Way more rough. Because I've played a version, and we all played a version of Tekken 8 Kazuya when this move didn't really exist. Before Season 1 buffs, right? And this used to be a counter hit launcher. It wasn't plus. It was, I think it was a minus something, minus 7, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. So yeah, we played that version before, and that Kaz wasn't really that good. Now ever since they changed this move to be a plus frame mid that looks like a Hell Sweep because of the crouch dash motion, right? And it wall splats into good damage, right? Something like this, into whatever the hell combo you can think of. There we go, pretty good damage, right? And it can also wall splat when it comes to weirder angles, like let's say something like this. This will also be a splat into a combo, a little bit of a weirder combo, but it's there. This move is one of the biggest reasons the character feels so good to play when it comes to pressure and mix-ups. Because if you didn't have this move, he would feel way more awkward. Way more awkward, because FF3, it's actually way slower than it looks, right? It's way slower than it looks because of the wave dashes and the inputs that you have to do. It's good, don't get me wrong, but nothing comes close to CD1+2. Nothing comes close to this. This is the main reason he's so much better to play than, let's say, Season 1 before he got the buff, or even before, let's say, Tekken 7. And even okay, what I want to say is that CD1+2 basically makes it possible for the character to be played in tournament settings. And he's been doing well, and he was always strong, even before Season 3. Right, Season 2 he was actually pretty damn good. But a lot of characters overshadowed him, rightfully so, because they also had very good mix-up options, while also retaining all of their other strengths. While Kazuya doesn't have those strengths, but his mix-ups have always been strong. Right? He as a character doesn't have good poke. He doesn't have good poke. He doesn't have good checks, especially mid checks. His good poking is one form when it comes to down back 4, his good low poke. And this is also another move I want to talk about, because down back 4 is also another reason why the character feels so good. But the main reason, all of these strengths have been there, by the way, ever since that season 1 change, after season 1, the CD1+2 was changed, and season 2, he was there. He was still really good. I think no one would say that Kazuya was bad. He was never bad. I don't think a bad character even exists in this game. But in season 3, so the characters and the game itself is so more neutral focused more, which movement matters a little bit more, right? Obviously, it's Tekken 8, but it feels better. It does feel better, and a character like Kaz can shine a lot more, but it's not just Kaz, obviously, right? It's not just him. Characters that also rely and have good neutral will also shine a lot more too. Someone like the other character on the screen right now, Fang. Fang actually is also a character that has very, very strong neutral, and it can control the neutral really well because of how good his frames are on every kind of button he does, and plus he has a Kempo, right? And the Kempo in a move that backdash isn't really that strong anymore is really, really, really damn good. Not to mention he still has all of the good options, good mix-ups, the fast lows, all of the things that he already had, he still has it. And he also has his busted shoulder heat dash, and it still exists, which basically is a tracking 13 frame mid that's +5 on block, and does like 55 damage or whatever the hell damage it does, right? So it's really, really strong, and the character itself I think will also feel way better in season 3. I think, anyway. Kazuya is also one of them. The other Mishimas most likely will be one of them as well, especially if you have a combination of electrics plus good other buttons like Heihachi or even Reina or even Jin. They should feel a bit better. Jin is a little bit more rough, to be fair, because his mix-up potential is not up there, but the reason Kazuya, so let me just summarize it a little bit. The reason Kazuya feels so good is because the game is way more neutral heavy, which emphasizes his strengths a bit more. Well, that's one. Two is that he still has his mix-up potential, which he is the mix-up character. He's always been the mix-up character. And his mix-ups didn't really get nerfed that much, right? His Hell Sweep is still just as strong. Everything else is also just as strong. He still has a Heat 4-4-2, Heat 4-4-2 Heat Dash, Down Back 1-2 Heat Dash. Down Back 1-2 is a seriously very strong move in Heat. I didn't even mention this, but this is super strong. CD1+2 is amazing as a mid mix-up. We have a lot of options when it comes to covering tracking with back 4, even while standing 3, or just electric with movement and stuff like that. And since this kind of movement can happen more, that's why, right? That is why. But yeah, YouTube, big thanks for watching. Big thanks for watching. I just want to mention this a little bit more because I've been talking about it on my streams. I just want to record a vid about it as well. So yeah, thanks for watching once again, and I'll see everyone in the next one.